Bali, the founder of the Biz Kids. We're all about helping kids start businesses and finding inspiration for that. So that's what this video is about. We have a business owner with us today named Jesse. Jesse's going to talk to us about the financial world. And we also have a new co-host named Ella. Ella is our co-host. And so she's going to help me in this process and ask from the kids' perspective about money and business to our guests. So Ella, first of all, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
So my name is Ella. I've been doing Biz Kids for a couple of years now. I have a business called For Dog's Sake where I make adjustable crossbody dog leashes so you can walk your dog hands-free. I enjoy Biz Kids a lot, and I've done tons of events. I've done the expos and the markets, and I enjoy it a ton. And yeah.
Nice, nice. So those of you that are new to our business and knowing what we do, we have 3 elements to our program. It's called the Biz Kids Camps, Biz Kids Markets, and Biz Kids Expo. The camps are our training time where we give kids the tools that they need to start their business. The markets are our opportunity for the kids to practice. So we can do community events where the kids actually get out, sell their products, sell their services, and experience what it is to be an entrepreneur. And then our expo is our big show where the kids get to actually pitch their idea to our judges and win money to reinvest in their business and help it grow. And so Ella has been the last event. Ella was our $1,000 grand prize winner for her age group. So congratulations, Ella.
Thank you.
Did you spend all the money already?
No, I have not.
Good, good. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Our guest, Jesse, is in the financial world, and he's going to give us some tips and tricks to what to do with our money as we grow our businesses. So Jesse, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, who you are and what you do, and how are you going to help us learn about money today?
Of course. So a lot of people, I think, just to start, they overcomplicate these kind of conversations. They think that you need to have some kind of specific order to every single thing. A lot of these conversations that I have with our clients, they're very simple. Some foundational pieces really make the most difference to people's lives. So just to rewind a little bit, I'm from New York originally. I lived there for the bulk of my life until high school. I came down to Southwest Florida immediately after. I went to FGCU, got a dual major in criminal justice and law, which obviously is not finance. Mm-hmm. So I kind of meandered and found finance a little later. I had a good mentor of mine. He owned a law practice in Fort Myers, and we got close, and I kind of learned the ropes of the legal side of things. And then pretty quickly I realized that law was really not my calling. And I kind of ran some local retail operations and some other different companies in Fort Myers, Naples, Bonita, even down in Miami. And ultimately I ended up falling into a pretty great position with a large financial company called Northwestern Mutual. I worked with them for a few years, and pretty soon on after I started, I realized that the way that they situated some of their holdings were a little bit outside of the realm of what I would like to offer my clients. So I realized the only way for me to do that would be to branch out on my own and start my own financial services company. And that's what I've been doing. And here we are.
Nice. And you had that entrepreneurship in your blood that you kind of took a system that's already existed and looked for a way you could make it better for your clients and figure it out. And that's a big thing that we kind of teach the kids is don't be scared of getting a job in the beginning, because you want to learn from the companies that are out there that already have proven systems and how they do things, because it's a great learning process to figure out how a company runs, how they do their processes. And so you can look at, hey, if I ever started a company or wanted to do this, I know kind of the blueprint of kind of how to build it. So Jesse, let's go back even a few more steps in your life. When you were a kid, was there anything during your childhood that you were said, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I sold a product or sold anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of always been in my blood. I like to think when I really think back, I mean, some people listening might not relate too much just because some of the stuff I did was very seasonally related. So we did a lot of snow plowing. We did a lot of raking leaves in the fall. We did a lot of landscaping before and after the winter times. We did a lot of weird odds and ends like that don't really exist here. But we started doing that. Shoot, I don't even know. We were probably 7, 8 years old when we really started getting going. We probably couldn't even hold the rakes we were using to shovel to move some of the leaves. We were already trying to get that going. So I always had, my friends and I always had some bone in our body where we wanted to help others and we wanted to build something for our own, right? So I think that's really the part that a lot of folks either have or they don't, right? I think it's great to start working for somebody to gain the skill, right? So there was even currently I have a mentor that's been in the business for 30 years, and he's extremely valuable to me because when you start out in anything you do, you're obviously not polished, you're not fine-tuned, you don't really know the ins and outs. So I mean, JD, kudos to you and Biz Kidz for even existing and being able to offer these services so that these folks are able to start that journey so much earlier than myself or a lot of my colleagues were able to. But yeah, I mean, I've always, from selling things on eBay, washing cars, man, we did a lot of selling lemonade. We used to sell candy at school. We used to buy big bags of candy and give them out to kids at school for $1 or whatever we would do. Yeah, so we've always had that spirit, always had that desire to
That's how my business started. That's how my business started too. I was 13 years old when I started mowing lawns for a guy in town, and he had 13 rental properties that I did for him every week, and that ended up turning into a lawn care business that I had for 23 years, 15 employees, and so it just from being a kid and getting out there to do anything. Ella, did you start anything before your business now? Did you do anything before to sell?
Yes, I actually did. So when I think I was 10 years old, I sewed actually pillows and dog beds, which is kind of funny. It's kind of related to what I sell now. And I think I made $900 just selling it to like my mom's employees and stuff at her work. And I also had like jewelry making, but it was like little bead things when I was like probably like 8 or 9. And same thing, I just sold it to people at my mom's work.
And that's the best. That's what we encourage all our kids to do, is get out there and try something just so you experience it. And once you make those first couple of dollars, then you're hooked. Then you're looking for the next thing to sell, the next thing to make that you can make some money on.
And the beauty in that, I mean, from Bella, from what you said, you sold it to employees that your mother had, right? So when you look at marketing, obviously this might be a little higher level, but there's the warm market and then there's the cold market, right? So the warm market are the folks that know you, that like you, and that trust you, right? So obviously your mother's employees, they know who you are, they know that you're going to make something of high quality, and they know everything about you for the most part because they know your mom. So I think starting out in that kind of an environment, no different than JD with his landscaping operation, things could really spiral bigger than you would ever realize just by taking the time and trying to figure out where these offers are needed and how to offer it in a way that people want. So
Right.
Now, Jesse, now being in the financial world, do you remember back when you were a kid, did anybody ever teach you about money, or was it, hey, you just saw people like making money and you just jumped in there and did it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of found it a little bit odd. I mean, my family is they're extremely financially literate. I mean, it's a lot of folks, unfortunately, it's not a mandatory thing to graduate with, right? So when Ella graduates, there'll be no class that she'll ever take, more than likely, in traditional schooling that is financial literacy. And it's understanding the ins and outs of how money works, how to pay a bill, what taxes are, what the graduated scale is with taxes. There's so many different pieces that folks just don't know. And if you don't start out with that, like I said earlier, the foundational pieces of money, it really sets you back as you get older. But as a kid, I mean, I was always around people that had nice things. They always had nice houses and cars and all the different luxuries that people buy when they have money. And I kind of realized pretty quickly that obviously these things are expensive and they're not easy to get, or else everybody would have them. So I kind of had to figure out a way to achieve something and build something that would be able to afford me the luxury to gain those things. but yeah, my parents were hugely integral in all of my financial acumen and understanding how money works and all of that. So that's for sure an important part of my life.
Nice. Well, Ella has a few questions for you as well. So let me have her ask her first question. Ella, go ahead.
Okay, my first question is, what is the key to having drive and productiveness?
So drive and productiveness. In my eyes, drive and productiveness. Drive is something that I think a lot of people have, right? People don't really realize how to unlock the drive. So if I know for a fact that I wanted to grow my business to a certain level, I would need to that would be my driving factor, to be the driving piece that I want to pursue. Right. So wanting to pursue something or wanting to achieve something, whether that's starting a business, whether that's growing a business, whether that's learning about certain thing that you could offer. Like I'm imagining when you started your business, you needed to learn how to sew, how to put things together, how to find where you could even buy the product to build something for somebody. So learning those nuances, I think, is really where it's like a fire in your stomach that kind of gives you the energy and the desire to go forward. You said what, drive? What was the other thing you said?
Productiveness.
Productiveness. Yeah,
Productive.
that's a real tough one. I mean, I know a lot of folks, being productive is very difficult, especially nowadays where a lot of people are working from home, and especially business owners. If you don't have a storefront, if you don't have a traditional office like most people would know, odds are you're working from your home, you're working from your home office. And when you have so many things going on around you and you're still trying to dial in and focus, it becomes pretty tough. But I think focusing on your goals and focusing on where you'd like to be and what you'd like to build, I think if you just keep your one track mind on that and that alone, I think that'll help drive and productivity work in tandem. So
yeah, and one of the things that we like to encourage the kids to do is have goals so you know where you're driving to. You can have drive and be like you're going down the road, but if you don't have a goal of where you want to be, you have to have that written down so you know what you're shooting for. I heard the other day a golf analogy is like, hey, if you don't know where the flag is to hit the golf ball, you're going to be all over the place. But if you know where you're going to and what you're aiming for, you're going to have a better idea of where you're going.
yeah,
What's your
it just
second
gives you
question,
direction.
What's your second question, Ella?
My second question is, when you were younger, did you predict your success? And if so, does your life look like how you thought it would when you were young?
Did I predict it? I always had, similar to the last question, I always had the drive to seek something more and to always seek something greater. But could I have predicted that I would end up here? No, certainly not. My goal, as odd as it may seem, well, maybe not odd, but for me, it's relatively odd looking back. When I was a real little kid, probably 8 or 9 years old, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. So a brain surgeon is obviously an extremely difficult job to be in, where you need a ton of education and a ton of experience. And I initially, there was an organization called Ride for Kids, and all the people that had motorcycles, they would go on their motorcycles and they would kind of drive in one big area with all the bikers behind them, and they would raise money for kids that had brain tumors. And my father brought me to one of those events, and I was floored with how awesome these people were and how great it was. So it definitely made me want to go down that route. So yeah, from me thinking that I wanted to do that up until me getting a little older and then wanting to go to law school and be a lawyer, to now that I work in finance, it was a very, very meandering route. But the only benefit to that is once you feel in your heart and in your stomach that you really love what you do, you never have to work. Every day is just another enjoyable day that you're able to do exactly what you were put on earth to do. So that's kind of what, whenever I'm talking to somebody, they don't know what business to start, or they don't know what field to go into, or they don't know, they're just a little confused. I think just looking at what you love and what you like and what your hobbies are and what you're just naturally good at. And if you have a certain ability, if you could tie in that ability with what you love and make money doing it, I figure that's kind of the perfect trifecta.
And that's the great thing about entrepreneurship, right? You can start off loving one thing and then you go after that and you grow a business going that direction. And you might find something along the way that you're like, oh, I like this even better. and you can always pivot and change and add different services or a different business altogether. I've had 20.
It's all a game.
Yeah.
I look at business, and I'm sure JD and Ella, I'm sure you both look at it this way. It's all a game, right? So it's a game that you play, and the only way to win the game is to stay in the game. So the longer that JD, myself, and Ella continue doing what we're doing, it's not a if we're going to succeed, it's when you're going to succeed. Because if you give it enough time, you give it enough energy, you give it enough effort, you will get somewhere and you will succeed at whatever you try. But you need to stay on track and maintain and try to do one thing and not try to. I have friends that have 5 or 6 different businesses, right? And they're very successful and they're great. But if you look at Facebook, Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, you look at any massive operation, their CEO, their founder had a one-track mind, and they only did one thing and one thing only. Because when you start going in 2 different directions, it's like walking and chewing gum. Most people could do that. But you guys tonight, try to brush your teeth and send a text message at the same time tonight. That's the homework. Try to brush your teeth and send a text message at the same time, and you'll realize pretty quick you can't do both. You got to choose one and do one. And that's kind of the best analogy I can give when it comes to that one-track mind in business.
So it's about mastering your craft, like a specific thing before you go on to learning a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 sides to that coin. If you understand, if I know finance, and that's what I do every day, right? I'm probably be around other folks and I am around other business owners that do a lot of different things, right? And they all have their specific, it's called a niche. Everybody has their own specific thing that they kind of do, right? So I'm very good at what I do, and you're very good at what you do. If I tried to do what you do, I probably wouldn't be able to do it for 2 seconds. I would fail immediately until I learned. So taking the time to stack, it's all because it's a game that you never really ever finish. You could play this game until you're 100 years old. You're just stacking little pieces of information in your brain until suddenly you look up and a problem that you would have had a year or 2 ago, now you do it every day and it's a breeze. It's just stacking little wins and little pieces of information, and suddenly you could put all of them together, and now you have. That's why mentorship, that's why working with others, that's why being in groups similar to Biz Kidz is so valuable, because you guys are able to be around others that have goals and aspirations and drive at 15 years old, 12 years old, 10 years old, whatever the age groups are. You're surrounding yourself with others that are similar to you, which is great. And that helps you get there that much faster.
Go on with your next one, Ella.
My next question is,
Yep.
What advice would you give me as a young entrepreneur?
I would say to find something you love and just stick to it. Whatever that may be. Just like I said earlier, just persevere and continue and stay on track. And as long as you have a goal and you're striving towards that goal, I think that's the best thing to do, honestly. And surround yourself, like I said, with folks like JD and other kids that are on the same track as you.
So our final thought is, as a money manager, what are kind of the top things that kids should kind of think of when they start to make money?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like we said earlier, I think there's 5, I always call them the 5 different parts to managing money. The first one is define your goals, right? So you need to know what your goal is. You need to know where your direction is. And once you have the direction, now you're good, right? So the next step is plan. So you have the goals, you have to plan how you're going to reach them. And especially if these are money goals, let's say your goal is to build up $1,000. That's your goal, is to build up that amount in savings. So you have your goal of $1,000. Your plan is how you're going to get there. So whether that's selling something or whatever your route is to gain money, obviously you're saving. That's step number 3 is save. The 4th is budget. So naturally, when you have more money at your disposal, you're given a lot more choices, right? So I can go and take, let's say my goal is 1,000 and I have 500 so far. I can go and spend $500 on a TV, or I can go and spend 500 on new material that I'll be able to build more items to then sell and then make more money. So you have to make sure that you're setting your budget and spending your money where your money can grow and not get smaller, because in a year that TV is going to be worth next to nothing, whereas the product that you bought will be worth a lot because you'll make something out of it that you could then sell. The final piece after that is anything that you have excess is to invest for your future. And a lot of people all day long, they're asking, Jesse, what should I invest in? Where could I put my money to make sure that I'll have X dollars by retirement or whatever the case? And my answer is very different based on who's asking me and their situation and their goals and all the other different nuances behind it. But for someone, a younger person, I think the only investment you will really ever need to make at that age is, I call it the S&P 500. Right. So S&P 500 is a major conglomerate of stock indices, and that's about as far as I'll explain that piece. But the S&P 500 is investing in yourself and putting time, energy, money, and as much knowledge in your pocket as humanly possible. So whether that's working with JD and Biz Kidz, and whether that's maybe an additional club, or whether that's a course you could buy online, or YouTube videos that teach you something different, anything that will, paying for tutors, whatever it may be, it makes no difference. Just investing in yourself and investing in your own conglomerate of knowledge, because you'll always have, nobody could ever take knowledge away from you. Money comes and goes, businesses come and go, ideas come and go, but nobody could ever take away what you put in your brain. So my suggestion is always to make sure you're investing in yourself first.
Nice. Any other last questions, Ella? Last minute things you thought of?
I don't think so.
I threw a lot at you there, I think, but you can give me a tough one if you want.
Well, we definitely want to dive more into the financial piece of it, and then maybe at another time. But we appreciate you taking the time to spend with us, kind of letting us know your ideas on what business, how business we should look at business, and how we should keep our drive and focus going that direction. So thank you for spending the time with us today. Thank you to my co-host Ella for being here today. So we're going to do a lot more of these videos as you're watching. I do have some special announcement. We are working on a workbook right now for our kids, so they can have a guide through how to start a business. And we hope to have those out in the next couple months, where kids can go through them and kind of step by step. Here's the process of how to start a business, what I need to focus on. And we hope to have those in your hands soon. So again, thank you, Jesse, for being here. Thank you, Ella. And we will see you guys on the next episode of the Biz Kidz Hub.